Cafe Anyway. Yes.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to episode 2529, 2529. I'm Mike Matthews. This is the show where we look at stuff on a daily basis.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Everyday Cafe Anyway is where we are. I'm Mike Matthews, and this is a show that has some different views. And you don't know the news until you listen to the show, and then you hear stuff, and you go, whoa, I didn't know. Ho, 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 Santa's on his way. Cafe Anyway, somewhere in podcast realm.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth. This is where we are. Okay, so this thing
Mike's
called TikTok
Daily
is getting under my skin.
Podcast.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't care how big it gets. I'm not doing it. And NPR, if you decide to broadcast a story saying all that changed when so-and-so put this video on TikTok and became the biggest thing ever, I do not even think that is a sentence worth salt of any kind. I don't care if it's sea salt or the little salt that maybe has a little garlic added to it. I don't think it's worth any salt. It's not worth its salt. It's not worth anything. TikTok is not... Okay, I'm probably talking to somebody who's on TikTok. No, probably someone listening to this would not ever be on TikTok either. I'm over 50. If I go on TikTok, that's very bizarre and suspect and kind of weird and perverted and probably doesn't need to happen. So I will not go on TikTok. But people say that the NPR, why they even hear this bastion news, National Public Radio launched all these careers of famous journalists, and they have a TikTok story today. It was ridiculous. So, and they often go to TikTok as a verifiable source when all it is really...
And here's today's podcast picture.
All I know about TikTok, it's like one challenge after another. All these challenges. It's the I'm stupid challenge. It's the I'm going to throw... I guess it all goes back to... Does it all go back to that bucket challenge? Oh, there's eating the pods. And then the worst thing, and people have died of this, is the holding their breath till they pass out thing. That's just why. We'll go back in time to a picture with the late great Basil the Boxer, I'm thinking. We'll go back maybe. Let's see. You know, December. Oh, the late great Basil the Boxer. We'll go back to 2016. And the late great Basil the Boxer and I think we were at Fairmont Ridge. Maybe we'll do a picture from that. See it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Some fun excursion that we went on. A Mike excursion. We went all over the dang place. Ooh, yeah, we had this nice walk in Pleasanton. They had just opened their park. Aw, memories. Okay, see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. But the thing is, what I don't get is this whole stuff about that, what I was discussing, the TikTok and the Bitcoin and all that. And inflation. Apparently, a lot of people are taking on multiple jobs. And it's like the gig economy. But people have I have a part-time job, I think. I may or may not have a part-time job. But year-end holidays are usually joyous, with gift giving and plenty to eat and drink. But with inflation surging, some Americans are coping by cutting back or finding cheaper options. But a lot of Americans are taking on part-time jobs or side jobs. 68% of adults either already have or plan to pick up a side gig, like delivering food with DoorDash or renting out extra space in their homes. That's interesting because, well, I did that for a while. I would say 2016, I think, renting out to somebody who I didn't know till after he started renting from me that he he rented out a room that he was doing a podcast as well. And his podcast was based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he had a huge DVD collection, and we would talk about superheroes and whatnot. He was busy, though, always busy. He worked at a zoo, and he was always busy with that. And so it appeared that I was living with another podcaster, but he and I would sometimes talk about superheroes, and he'd go, "Hey, I got that DVD. You want to watch Fantastic Four? Here you go." And this is, isn't it weird? 2016, and we were still watching DVDs. But now it's all streaming. 44% of Americans currently work or plan to work a seasonal job. That usually happens this time of year. And that could include shipping packages for Amazon or stocking and unloading for Walmart. Really? I used to work with a guy, so I would do this morning show. I was the producer I'd basically do all the music and sound effects for Rob Black, who talks about money, has a podcast called Rob Black and Your Money, and I actually helped put that podcast together. And so I would be doing that, and there's another guy there who would basically show up and just sleep. But his side job was working at Amazon, moving stuff, and he was not the most in shape guy. He was actually the most out of shape guy, and the fact that he was basically not getting any sleep, he would, I think, go to bed about 10, wake up at 1, and go to work for Amazon, and then come to where I was at this radio station, and then he would sleep. So not the most healthy fella, but that's what he wanted to do. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Anyway.
And 51%, a little over half, just a 1% over half, either currently work or plan to work overtime at their current 9-to-5 job and make a little extra that way. And one last fascinating thing about Bitcoin. There's a strategist named venture capitalist Tim Draper who is predicting that Bitcoin will reach $250,000 next year. Despite the big collapse it suffered recently, Draper previously predicted that Bitcoin would top $250,000 by the end of 2022, the end of this year. But now he's saying it's the next year. So he is saying, well, another strategist says that it would be down, would drop $5,000 next year in a market surprise that investors are underpricing. That is Standard Chartered is saying that, marking a 70% plunge from the current level of around $17,000. Well, that's okay. That's okay is what Mr. Freddie Mercury says in the song Under Pressure, which was a hit about this time of year in 1991. So we're talking, is that 41 years now? Wow. 41 years ago. It was number one in England first before it started climbing the charts here in America. I found that out listening to Casey Kasem last night. They were playing an old show from 1991. A lot of interesting songs in 1991. There is somebody that I find a bit interesting. That is the Professor of Rock. He does a YouTube channel. And I haven't watched the YouTube video yet that he is talking about how 1983, the top 10, he picked a date where he was counting down the top 10 most requested songs, biggest songs of that time in 1983. And they're like, all of them were classic tunes. But yeah, 1983 definitely was a shed year. Hey, here we go. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How's y'all doing?
That's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
The only good thing that happened in 1983 was that Benita wore something pink.
Oh, it was something pink?
Yeah, it was very, very flashy. It got my attention, and she had a lot of hairspray in her hair.
Yeah, I put hairspray in my hair. Okay, thanks, Benita. You're welcome. I gotta go. Bye, 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 bye. There she goes. Look who else is here. This is crazy.
Oh, Mike, I made the delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, pouring for it.
Thank you. Okay, this is great. Well, let me try this root beer. That looks so good. Oh, it's got a little tinge of pumpkin. You know, pumpkin beer is one thing. Pumpkin root beer, not so much.
Drink it right now, I'll cut you.
I just drank it right there, and I did. So don't. So we heard from the late great Basil the Boxer a little bit earlier, and I have a cat now named Rocky, and I was doing a Zoom call. I'm a manager, so I had to do a Zoom call with some other managers, and they're all. Somebody's talking, saying something, probably talking about planning the Christmas party, the holiday party of some kind. I don't know. But suddenly this cat, Rocky, jumps on me. And Zoom, although a lot of YouTube videos are pulled from Zoom, but Zoom, what it does is when you basically, the camera goes to you if something with a lot of action happens. It tells Zoom, pick that because something's going on there. So a cat attacking my shoulder would probably get a lot of attention. So I didn't realize that because I'm watching and I don't see myself. I'm seeing other people. But somebody said to me later, so you got a cat, huh? What, do you think Basil the Boxer, the late great Basil the Boxer, would have jumped on your shoulder in the middle of a Zoom call? It's a good question. And finally, Elon Musk. We hear a lot about him lately with Twitter and all that. I did not realize his Boring Company, which is the worst named company ever, because it's really doing something that's not boring. It's rather unboring, and that is, it's boring through the earth. It's a digging. I guess he didn't want to call it Digger, which was a video game where this little Dig Dug. He should have called it Dig Dug. Dig Dug. I don't know what I was thinking with the other one. Dig Dug, you would dig around in the earth, and then you would blow up, I think it was dragons. This little pump would come out, and you'd get the dragon, and then you'd pump them up and make them pop. Dig Dug. And I used to play it like crazy. We didn't have White Castle in Southern California, in Van Nuys, California, but we did get something that was similar to White Castle. It was a spinoff. Something else, or small burgers, or White Castle, they sell tiny burgers, sliders maybe was what we later called them. But I played that video game nonstop. They had that, I think they had that and Pac-Man, and I played Dig Dug. I was obsessed. So Elon Musk has a Dig Dug company that's actually, he wanted to dig under LA in Southern California, dig a bunch of holes, a bunch of tunnels. And his concept was that if you got stuck in traffic, because he hated getting stuck in traffic in LA, because he had a SpaceX factory down there somewhere, and he'd get stuck in traffic similar to how Walt Disney would get stuck in traffic. Walt Disney's solution was get a plane and fly into Anaheim from Burbank when he had to get over to Disneyland, when he was leaving the Disney studios. But what Elon wanted to do was dig holes under LA. And what you would do is, if you were stuck in traffic and you want to get around it, you get on an elevator that would take you down under the earth to a tunnel, and then you would take that tunnel to get you to some location. First, the mayor of LA was all for it, but then everybody else seemed to be against it, and there were a lot of people living in the area that he wanted to dig in Sepulveda, near Sepulveda Pass, I think. I think that would be Westwood, in that general area. East Santa Monica, I forget what they call it. And they said, no, we don't want this. Don't dig under my house. Technically, I own that property, don't I? And you're digging under it? Don't you need to pay me for that? So instead, it's being done. The company still exists. That part of the whole Tesla, SpaceX, Elon Musk world. But it's called, and it's still called the Boring Company, but I guess they do stuff in Las Vegas. They've done a couple projects there, which I did not know they're still doing that. Okay, time for, let's go, speaking of digging, let's go dig back in time. A couple years back, not all the way to 1983, but let's go maybe 20 years back. And this is a segment called Let's Go Back with Matthews, because I am Mike Matthews. That's why. And we're going to go back to a time when I was on the radio and bizarre things happened on the radio. I was doing the country radio station.
Right
and
after the top eight.
This happened.
Tell them about it, Marge.
7 KHAY at the K Santa Fe Cafe. Now, Carolyn Don Johnson with One Day Closer to You. It's 100.7 KHAY. I'm Matt Michael. Sorry, that got a little loud.
Big question. What is the craziest Friday that you ever had? I think this one could probably go in the record books. Matt, the craziest Friday I ever had was the Friday before I got married to Marge.
No way.
Yeah, tell them about it, Marge.
Oh, I don't remember. I was completely drunk.
Oh, well, I don't really remember it either.
Well, that's an interesting story. I'm sure I can catch all the details on Fox. Sir, on the phone, make sure to go out on a date this Labor Day weekend, okay?
Oh, I will.
Good. You deserve it. You should go out.
Oh, I will.
Leanne Rhymes, The Light in Your Eyes, KHAY. Aw, Leanne Rhymes. That was crazy. Oh, Kirstie Alley died today. She was 71. Man! That was my cafe question. Not about Kirstie Alley, but that's sad. Only 71. So, I guess that happened on the radio. That thing that you just heard. Because I recorded it and I found a cassette of it years later and just played it for you. But the cafe question, yes, Crazy Fridays and all that. Let's see what else. One more part.
So I guess the shake on top of the In-N-Out burger in Ventura, the one off of Harbor at 7:30 today, caught fire. It caught fire, the shake. So it took 3 engine companies and 1 truck company to come and put it out. So there you go. Those shakes, they're hot. They're so hot. Okay. Sorry. That's Alan Jackson, and coming up we got Patty Loveless, Travis Tritt. Let's see, can I make that funnier 20 years later? That shake was so hot. Tracy Bird, oh my gosh, it's a little after 10:30, that means Tillis's latest CD, where she is actually remaking the hits of her dad, Mel Tillis. It's called Tillis Sings Tillis. Or actually, it's called It's All Relative. But you can win it right now on this Tillis Sings Tillis weekend. 650 KHAY. Pam Tillis. She's still around. Mel is gone. Her dad, but... All right, and finally, this is a segment called Mike Matthews' New Tunes Feud. I'm going to play you 2 tunes. You tell me which one you love, which one you absolutely think is the best of the 2. And I'm first going to play a little thing from Talene Cali. Talene Cali, who is actually from Los Angeles. And this is a song called Fine Line. That sounded very 80s. All right, that is Bandcamp
called it joyful and expansive alt rock with shades of lush. Does that mean something to you? Maybe it does. And finally, so we just had Talene Kelly. Did you like that song better? Or here's one is this from SZA? Okay. Let's see if I can play it. It may let me play it. I guess this is a song called Shirt. Let's listen to just a hair of that. Oh, maybe it's not SZA. It's SZA. I don't know how do you say that? And which one did you like better? SZA or Talene Kelly? Call me 336 Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Is in daily. And what's the other thing?
Call now. 336 Daily.
Wait, 336 3 plus 3 equals 6. Is in Mike Matthews. Daily is what this podcast is. Okay, I guess that's the way that is how I put it usually to you to contact me. Which one you like better, or you can simply listen to what this person says about how to reach me.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.